Well, good evening. You're very welcome to Inside Line Racing for round number 18 of ILR6 here at the Circuit of the Americas. Only 3 races to go after this one. We really are in the home stretch of the season. My name is Graham, and I'm going to do my best to help bring you the action tonight from a very popular track on the calendar, a track that really promotes good racing, side-by-side racing, lots of overtaking opportunities. It's going to be a really fun race. I think we've got 18 drivers here. We still have a title to decide. Will not be decided here, of course. The gap is only 20 points between Dan's car in the McLaren on 194 and Ant-Attack in the Red Bull on 174. So 20 points between them, and behind them is Alex Serlane actually in third, and now at this stage he's on 95 points, just ahead of Alex and Baza on 93 and 82 points respectively. And then in the constructors we have McLaren still leading the way, 274 points, 10 points ahead of Haas on 264. Then Red Bull are in third on 178. So it is Ant-Attack that gets us set off here with the fastest lap of a 32.5. So good start for him. I think it's really important for Ant. Obviously he's second in the championship. The races are running out. There's only 3 after this. Only 75 points available after this one. He's 20 points behind at the moment, so I have a possible 100 points to get. He has to outscore Dan's car by at least 20 points, at least 21 points if he wants to win the title. It's a tough ask to do in 4 races, but look, he's seen how quickly things can change in ILR6 this season, so I think anything is possible, and I think that's the best possible way to start tonight, is put himself on provisional pole with that 32.5. So now straight away he's setting the bar as such for Dan's car to try and come and get him. So he comes around the final corner, and what can he push across? It's a 34.6, but it is on the soft compound tire. So we'll see if Dan's car is deciding to prioritize maybe the race ahead of track position in terms of qualifying. It's a risky thing to do, but we'll see how it all shakes down with 12.5 minutes to go. Genie Mac, this session flies by quickly, doesn't it? So strategy wise, we can get into it in the formation lap and the such, but it's going to be interesting to see who actually does split their strategy between supers and ultras for qualifying. There are tyre issues here. Again, we can get into it as the race kind of unfolds, and as the formation lap we can lay it all down out there on the floor. Where is Serlane? Serlane is on an outlap at the moment, so with Serlane going to 3rd place in the standings, it's showing you how he really has been having a say in this title fight. Despite not being directly involved, he's still taking those top steps in the podium and such. He's taken those 25 points, and obviously such a big difference between, obviously it's 7 points between first and second, whereas between second and third the difference is only 3 points. So you're not really scoring or outscoring your rival as much as you obviously would if you finish first. So very wide exit there for Serlane, and actually we'll go on board this lap with Serlane. Actually, no, we'll wait till the end when he's got the proper set of tyres on. So because a good lap around Kota is a thing of beauty, and I think that is something worth going on board with when the tyres are fitted on. So Risky Racer in second, Khalifa again continuous fine form. Khalifa in third, Bill in fourth, Charlotte fifth at the moment, and then Red then in sixth of the Toro Rosso. So a couple guys on ultras to start, at least for the count 4 have set laps, Beesma being another one as well. So interested to see how they all get on. Baza's diving into the pits. See if we can pick up someone near the end of that. Here's Howitzer, right? Let's get a lap in here. So Howitzer comes across the line. He's going to be actually in the top. Yeah, it is top 5. 33.7 for Howitzer on a set of ultras. So not a bad lap time there from Howitzer. See if we can pick up anyone else. Mr. Crumpet. Looks like he's backing off, or is he? No, he's going to carry on. The Ferrari, leading Ferrari at the moment. Oh, and late decision to come in and demolish that bollard. So poor bollard never did anything to you, Crumpet. And Plays dives in as well. So not the best. I know they're on softs, but not the best start for the McLarens early on. A lot of people on the softs with higher lap times than the pair of them, including Jack Gooding, 33.9 for Jack on the set of softs. So they have some work to do. Let's see then if Danskar can improve dramatically on his time. This looks a bit quicker. Where can they put him? Better, but it's still P13, 34.2. So he'd be hoping for some better fortune on the super softs, surely, if that's the tyre he is to qualify on. To start the race on, rather. Sets fastest lap, of course, as you should know by this stage, or if you don't know, if you're inside the top 10, your fastest qualifying lap, whatever tyre you set that on, is the one you start the race in. So the top goes for everyone in the top 10, not just the top 2 or 3 or pole position. It's the top 10. So, for example, Apex here, outside the top 10, could start whatever tyre he wants if he were to finish outside the top 10 in qualifying. That might be fairly obvious, but hey, some people don't know. You'd be surprised. So Jack Gooding then in the Red Bull this week as a reserve. His teammate for this race actually in front of him. And about to start a lap, so he's not wasting any time, is he? And he's got a job to do, business to attend to, and just willing to get on with it. That's what he needs to do. That's the right attitude to have, just to get on with the job and see what he can do. Shot into the pits. Sirlane has backed off this lap. 33.5 for Sirlane on the softs. And Danskar looks like he's on an in lap as well. So not a ton of actual flying laps going on. I'd imagine Ant is the only one, really. So let's go on board as he flicks through the S's, difficult, complex to really get right. As the first sector twists and turns, this uphill section of 8 and 9 can be a difficult section of the track as well, and down the hill towards turn 11. Good overtaking opportunity, of course, here as well, and then another one follows right after. It's the long back straight. DRS wide open and sticking towards the racing line obviously is the priority. Heavy braking for 12. Regular corner cutting here tonight, so he takes a bit of that corner, and then tricky right-hander of turn 13 and then 14, and then a difficult braking zone down towards 15 and 16. Very easy to lie up the rears on the way out, and you can easily lose a lot of time that way. Triple right-hander then, similar to, inspired by Istanbul's turn 8. In the last two corners, easy to invalidate your lap after everything you've done by running wide like that. Regular corner cutting shouldn't be an issue, and then try to hit the apex as much as you can. That's what you want to do, is take as much curb as possible on that lap. That's a 31.5. It's a second improvement on his time, so he's 1.2 seconds ahead of Risky Racer in second. So looks like a clean lap from Ant, and there you go. That's the result. He is in P1 by an absolute mile, but of course some people still yet to set times on faster compound of tyres. Not a lot of movement on the super softs as of yet. I know Khalifa, Shaw, Bill are on the pits. Sirlane actually back out on track still, and he goes third. 32.9 for Sirlane on softs. That's a bit more like the pace we're expecting to see, I think, from Sirlane. That's a bit more like it. Be interested to see what he can do with ultras. Will he choose to do it? We'll find out. Just 6 minutes left in this session. Danskar's in the pits. His teammate is out on track on a set of supers. Sorry, that's my bad. I had it fit on best and it was on fitted. It was not fitted. My bad. That's more like, that's more of the I was expecting to see this phase of qualifying with the super sauce. That's more like it. Apologies for that. Where is plays? We'll stick with plays for the time being. I was wondering why that was a bit off. They're still ahead in the constructors, but at the moment Haas definitely flexing at the moment here in qualifying early on. Baza then up to 5th place, 32.9, just narrowly misses out on Khalifa, who's on the super softs now and is going to emerge soon for his stop. Red then up to 6th on his ultra softs. Oh, a bit of a back end. So I thought I saw the back end stepped away from someone there. So maybe the Haas coming out of the pits. Where is plays? Here he goes. Then plays around the final corner and vaults himself up to 3rd place, 32.7 from plays. Good lap from plays, and that's more like it from McLaren. That's where they want to be. But For the McLaren team, it is Danskar who's in the title fight, not Plays, and so it's his lap that really has the most significance at McLaren. Just on his out lap for the time being. Apex then up to second place, just setting that time 32.1. Still a long way off at Ant though. Not sure if anyone's going to touch that time today. Maybe Sir Lane if he puts on the Sail of Ultras, but be surprised if anyone got that near then at this rate with just 4 minutes left. The other Renault Risky Racer is not on a lap at the moment. Plays then, as we know, just finished the lap. Baza then coming near the end of his lap then. Negotiating the triple right-hander. Braking towards turn 19. And he's going to dive into the pits and abort that lap. Where's Danskar then? He's just starting his flying lap now. So he's got a lot of work to do. See if he can involve himself ahead of his teammate firstly. And then after that, see if he can get anywhere near to Ant. You then, not to be confused with me talking to you, but it's you, the reserve for Ferrari, in 6th place on a very old set of softs. That's a very old set of softs. That's almost part of a race stint there at the moment. His teammate still in 16th place, so not the best stuff for Ferrari early on. Early on, there's 3.5 minutes left. It's not really early on, I suppose. Murdoch then round to the final corner and in 11th place, so he's missing a bit of pace compared to his teammate. Usually those two are quite close together, Murdoch and Baza, but not so far in this qualifying session. Ooh, I think Apex got for another lap, has he? No, he's diving into the pits. Low ERS, but excuse me, but no need to save it really if you're heading on your in lap. So I guess Danskar then will be one of the furthest forward. We'll go with Danskar then. Big lap needed here from the McLaren driver. Big lap needed. If he can get himself up to the top 6, that would be useful. And Sir Lane is put on the Ultras. Ooh. We could have a fight for pole position, yes, but let's see about our title fight. As Danskar rounds the final corner. Nice Apex. This could be decent actually. It is 32.9 for Danskar. He's a few tenths behind his teammate, but he's got himself up into the top 10. That's a big one for him. I'm trying not to laugh at the announcer in the background who is just stereotypically American, and it's just tempting to do the voice. If you've done this track, you obviously know what I'm talking about. So Lane then just beginning his lap then. I think he's got a legit shot for pole position here, and he could even see if he could dip into the 30s, but I think he's got a really good chance. Very exciting race. So Sir Lane then, let's go on board. Let's go on board with this. I think this is going to be Ant's closest contender for pole position. Got a few guys on out laps and the such in laps as well. So we're going to stick with this. On board. Flat out, then lifts. Beautiful S section. 25.3 for his first sector. And that is a good, that's 4 tenths quicker than, and so this is already looking like an extremely good lap then from Sir Lane. I'll go on board. I said I'd go on board and I'll stick with it. Beautiful Apex there as well. Up the straight, opens the back of it, of course, the flap, the DRS drag reduction system. Up to 206 miles an hour for heavy braking. Again, good Apex, good exit. Another good Apex, late one. Beautiful line again from Sir Lane and the left-hander of turns 15, 16. Beautiful stuff indeed in the long right. Again, very, very tidy. This is an extremely tidy lap. Doesn't run as wide as Ant did on that fastest lap, but this is going to be very, very good. This will definitely be pole position. How much? 31.1 in the end for Sir Lane. That is more like the Sir Lane there. I had a feeling if he got into that ultra, he'd be a very good shout for pole position, and that's exactly what he's done. He's put himself 4 tenths clear of Ant, who's back out on track as we literally tick down to the final seconds of qualifying. Just a few seconds till that flag drops. Who will be the first one then to meet it? We'll find one soon. Apex is done. Plays is done. See if you can find anyone else. Bill is done. Charlotte is, or Danskar is done, so Danskar no higher than 8th. Baza is going to be finished here as well. So let's see then. Howitzer, Beesway, they're quite close. Jack Gooding as well, close as well. So stick with the Red Bull on the Ultra Soft. He can get himself in the mix here as well, if he pleases. And he's gonna, no, I thought he was going to slow down there. It does improve to 12th though. See if anyone else is red. Khalifa then. See what Khalifa could do. There's a car coming around as well. That could be a risky racer as well. No, not sure. Oh, and there's Khalifa. Oh, you had it and then lost it. Ant is done. He is not improved on that lap. Plays won't be improved. How about risky racer? Charlotte on the supers. See if he can improve. Up to 3rd for Charlotte. 32 flat on the super soft. That's a very good time indeed. Here comes risky then. I think he'll be the last one to actually complete a flying lap. As Sir Lane dives into the pits and Plays, we know is not on a lap. Can this be a late natural pole position? No, it's not. A 32.3, and it keeps risky in 6th place, and that will conclude qualifying at Kota. Sir Lane again gets himself in the midst of the title challenge, puts himself into P1 ahead of Ant, and then Charlotte then a very interesting prospect ahead of him for this race. The highest runner on the Super Softs in 3rd place. It'll be interesting to see how it all shakes down. 8th place for Danskar on the Supers, so different strategies between the two title contenders. Be interesting to see who makes the right call. Time will tell. It's a brief enough first stint around here. The second one a bit longer. So then, the grid. Sir Lane on pole position ahead of Ant in 2nd, Charlotte in 3rd, Apex 4th, Place 5th, Risky 6th, Bill 7th, Danskar 8th, Khalifa in 9th. On the softs, mind you, Baza 10th, Red 11th, Jack Gooding 12th, Murdoch 13th, Howitzer 14th, Beesma 15th, Crumpus 16th, Daziek in 17th, and you in 18th. Excuse me, and that rounds out the grid. So Khalifa then, his first lap ended up being as fast as one in the end. Couldn't make it work on the on this last lap there, but still a good spot on the softs. He'll be running long into this race, hoping to avoid some damage that will be extremely detrimental to his strategy. But we'll find out. We'll find out. 28 laps await us at the Circuit of the Americas, and a dry race. Sun is shining, a little bit of cloud, but sure, look, what's the weather without a little bit of cloud, huh? So in terms of strategy then, Ultra Soft, so the one stop is possible for all compounds. Ultra Soft will go, you want to try and get to lap 8. Overheating tyres here, temperatures is a very big deal, especially on the Ultras. And even on Supers, if you're careless on your Supers, you will cook those as well within a few laps, within 5-6 laps or so. Same as the Ultras. You really have to be, it's so careful, you have to be so careful, and it's so crucial to nurse whatever set of tyres you're on through this first stint. You really just have to do whatever it takes to get them there. To get to the end of the race on the one stop, the Ultra Soft needs to go to about lap 8 or so, and the softs will do the rest. If you're the Supers, it'd be preferential for you to get it to lap 10 or 11 or so, but even 12 even would be your ideal stint. But if you can do that, I'd say do it. But of course, the softs here is a very good race tire here. It's a very durable tire, very good race tire. It won't let you down in terms of consistency, but it does drop off obviously near the end, especially if you're pinning from lap 6 or something, or lap 7 or 8. The softs will fall off, and you will see a big difference. But if you follow the Super Soft recommended strategy, 11 or 12 or so, even 10, you should be in a decent spot. So Khalifa is, well, facing the wrong way for a start, and is back on the grid. He's on the softs. Everyone outside the top 10 then is on Supers, with the exception of Crumpus, who is on on Supers, with the exception of Crumpus, who is on the softs. So big stint here for Sir Lane and Ant. If the tyres go early and you have to pit lap 4 or 5 or so, I'd recommend doing the 2-stop at that stage. Supers and maybe another 7 ultras if you're feeling it. So that strategy around USA. Personal preference for me, I like the super softs, and I've used the super softs in this stint in this race. And let me tell you, if you don't nurse that superset, even that superset, you are going to have problems. You really will. So you gotta run lean in as much as you can through some of the tires, some of the corners that put real strain on your rear tires. The likes of that triple left-hander, for example, is one. The turn one would be another. Even if you want to run lean through the S section, that's not a bad idea either. But regardless, that's all to come. Sirlane will take his place on the front row. Long run up to turn one, up the hill. Long run. Get a good start. There's a great chance for an overtake for the lead, and exactly Ant could do just that. He's on the inside line. It's a very open turn one, very inviting turn one. I think we will see a few collisions here as people misjudge braking zones and the such, and track width and all of that good stuff. So we'll go on board with Ant attack then. See how his start is. Here we go then, round 18 of ILR6. 5 red lights. And away we go. Looks like a decent start for Ant. Very decent start. He's going to have the inside line for turn one. Attacking Sirlane straight away. Apex with a decent start. The shot and plays as well. On the outside, and Sirlane's trying to take it back, and he has done, to be fair. They're going to be running side by side through the S section. Can Ant really afford to be doing this though? If he, an instance, will surely end his title there today, but he's got the move done. He keeps the move, and Ant is in the lead of the race with Sirlane just narrowly behind him. There's a couple of cars off behind Biesma and Khalifa, I believe, so they've had a little coming together in the first sector, but that's Ant ahead of Sirlane. That's a great job from him, but of course all about getting those tyres to the pit window. Be a difficult ask on those ultra softs to get an 8th lap, but let's see what they do. Plenty of scraps ahoy down the field. Oh, Bill Lewis back end snapping out there. Plays and Charlotte then. McLaren in a Haas sandwich, and Bill pulls over to the left hand side. A lot of overtaking going on. There's a Red and Murdoch in the background there as well. Down the inside, can Bill get the move done on Plays? Danskar right behind this as well, and so is Baza. Trying to hang around the outside of Danskar, but can't get that one done. And Danskar's made up his position off the start, but still in 7th place. And Baza then trying to fight him, and he's going to get better traction exit as well. He's going to hang around the outside of the triple right-hander. Can he get that done? No, just runs out of track in the end, and has to be content for the moment with 8th place. Meanwhile, Bill is hustling and harrying that McLaren. The gap at the front is a second already, and it's a sub on the bit. Oh, that's a car running wide. Is Baza, by the looks of it, and Jacqueline pops through into P8 rather. And when you go for a dive, no, Bill won't. Yellow flag in sector 3, and there's a severe collision at the back here somewhere. Murdoch and Crumpet. A couple of wing changes being taken place, but stick with this one. Oh, a difference of closing speed there. Bill almost ran to the back of Plays. And the Stanscar of wing damage. No, okay, he's just a little bit far behind at this stage. Oh, there's contact though between his teammate and Bill. Bill hitting into the back of that car. His wing looks okay, but nasty shock though, I'm sure. The difference in closing speed. Of course, no DRS activated just yet. Only on lap 2. Lap 3, and we'll be good to go. The gap at the front, 1.8 seconds between Ant and Sirlane. I'm a little bit surprised, though I possibly think Sirlane could be nursing somewhat. Wouldn't surprise me. Have to see how it all unfolds in a few laps, whose tyres are falling off and whose aren't, who's done the better job saving and who hasn't. As Charlotte Plays has gone from attacking to defend and has to back out of that one though, and that put him briefly into the clutches of Bill. And Plays still gonna have another go. Ash Charlotte hang around the outside, can get done. Very difficult to get hang around the outside here. Just more track to cover. Oh, and there goes Bill's wing though this time. He played with fire once before, and now has hit into the back of that McLaren, and now this time he has sustained damage. That's a big blow for Bill. DRS is now enabled, and now Danskar will surely have seen that piece of wing fly across the track, and now can look at attacking instead of defending. He's got Jack Gooding close behind him, very close behind him for that matter, thinking about a little move there, but he won't be able to do anything going through this S section. Plays, meanwhile, is also right on the back of Charlotte. That's for P4. More penalties for the pit lane. Difficult pit lane to get right if you're a bit newer to the game. Though shouldn't really be struggling with that pit lane. It should be fairly easy enough as long as you brake. And Jack Gooden then. You see Bill struggling in front there for downforce. And DRS now enabled. He's got a good run on Danskar. Surely this is the moment. We got another battle here as well, obviously, between Charlotte and Plays. And Charlotte then still holding position. Jack Gooden then not making the move on Danskar yet, but Danskar runs wide. And that's going to give Jack the run heading up the hill. And he backs out as that's Jack into 7th then. Charlotte and Plays has got the move done on the Haas. And Plays then moves up into P5. So it's a Haas 5-6, but the McLarens fallen a bit now. Danskar still in 8th. Haven't made that mistake, but Bill also I imagine will be falling quite soon. A bit wide there from Plays. Gap at the front is 4 seconds. I do wonder about tyres, but it'll all become clear very soon what the situation is. Oh, late close there by Shah. Is he going to go for a move again? Turn 1 is an inviting corner. Oh, Bill's going to get the... Is Bill going to get him? Very sneakily down the inside of his own teammate. Bill then moves up into 5th place. So, took that a bit too... Oh, gee, Mac, there's all sorts of commotion back here. Interrupt myself mid-thought. Of course, the wing damage of Bill is just absolutely killing him through this section. And Shalak goes back through. Jack Gooding here as well. And Danskar and you then as well. Bill just dropping rapidly. I think Jack Gooding may have actually hit the front and back of that car. And has lost a place to you then. And Danskar drops to 9th then. So, Ferrari on the charge. I'm pretty sure he came from the back of the grid, did he not? He did. So you then on an absolutely storming first stint, up to 7th place already from 18th. His teammate dead last. It's a great start for him. And he's going to get by Bill as well. Oh, moves over a little bit in the braking zone. And keeps the position. Bill then was under a threat there for Jack Gooding for a second. 7 seconds is the gap at the front now. This is unbelievable. Sir Lane has to be, well, I wouldn't say he's nursing. He has to be nursing, surely, because there's no way. But Charles is right, or Apex is right there, though. That's incredible. There's something going on there. Surely, I think he's been nursing. There's no way that his tires could be dead already, like this as well. 8 seconds on lap 5. Ant is up the road. So either Ant is pushing foolishly, or Sir Lane is really struggling. Now it's harder to guess it's the latter because Apex is right on his tail as well, and then the Charlotte and Plays then still squabbling. 3-way squabble for P4, headed up by that McLaren. Oh, Sir Lane has lost it. He's lost the back end. He's managed to keep it though, keep it in a straight line, but he now under threat. Apex is by, Plays is by, so I think that these struggles are legit then. He really is struggling with those tyres. He's going to have to come into the pits this lap. I'd imagine the rears have gone, and a snap of oversteer through the S's, tried to go full throttle, had to back out of it, and now is dropping rapidly down this field. He started this lap in P2, he's now down to P7, and I'd imagine that could be P8 by the time this is all said and done. So disastrous stuff for Sir Lane, but a golden opportunity surely awaits. And now all sorts of commotion going on. There's Bill and Charlotte there as well. And Plays right behind Apex as well. So the super softs really begin to come into their own now over the ultras. Once around lap 5 or so, I said that you could probably come in and get away with it. And though it's just absolute dreamland here. And Jack Gooding, oh, a little bit of contact between himself and Bill. And Hugh is up into 5th as well. This is absolute mad scramble for P4 or P5 now. And Jack Gooding, is he going around? Oh, he's going around the outside. Beautiful stuff. Bill running wide. Oh, this is absolutely insane. No one coming into the pit yet, though. I think Selene is diving in. He is. This is impossible to keep up with. Absolutely fantastic stuff here at ILR6. Late dive from Bill. Very late dive. Hits the back of Jack Gooding. And that is extremely fortunate for Jack that he hasn't been spun around by that. Like that. Very late. Ambitious move from Bill. Not a great move at all. You know he's got wing damage, but lunges like that will not help anyone, will only aggravate. And now Bill lost the place then to Danskar and you then. So Sir Lane then, what's he put on? Fresh supers for Sir Lane. That is a 2-stop for Sir Lane, who will be into the pits once again. Interested to see what Ant will do. Oh, is the Apex, not a great run out of turn 12. And that's going to allow Place and nip through on the super softs. So being cutting that gap down to Ant ever so brief, ever so slightly. And now, is this the time for Ant to pit then, or will he just use some of that lead he has to just stretch a bit further into this race? Jack Gooding and you into turn 13. And you, the Ferrari still holding ahead of that Red Bull. Danskar not too far behind this either. Some of activity in the pits. We'll find out in a second. From Ant, will he come in? No, he's going to carry on. So let's see then how much plays takes out of him on this next lap as Shalosh gets by Apex. So look at the Ultras really struggling. He's got to be really careful. Apex when entering the pits. No, he's not coming in this lap. His tyres are absolutely falling off a cliff. Shallock goes by, you goes by. Bill gets a penalty for corner cutting into the pits. Will Jack Gooding go for the lunge? Oh, very, very close to running into the back of that Renault and damaging that front wing. Stops just in time. So 8.8 seconds. If Ant is extending his lead, then he should try and keep this going for as long as he can, but has to be very, very careful not to find the limit, as Sir Lane did through that S section, and the car almost facing the wrong direction, uses a lot of time, and then it all kickstarts from there. So we have got some squabbling between these super soft runners. This is really good stuff. Plays, Shallot, you, Apex, Jack Gooding, Danskar, they're all so close to each other, and you then side by side with Shallot pick up the slipstream and DRS of Plays, backs out of it, and even the advantage shifted to Shallot after Plays moved across the track to get ready for the braking zone, and that was Shallot who picked up then slipstream and DRS as well. Then of course would have had DRS already, but picked up the slipstream effect as well. So this is helping Ant at the front here. The gap is now 9 seconds. He's extended it on this lap. Will he dive into the pits? No, he's good to go, and I don't blame him, to be fair. With all the squabbling happening up here, you then on the outside of turn 19, a little bit of contact. This is good stuff. Shallot here as well, just going to tuck in to turn 20 and get a good run out of this final corner. Let's see then. Gets the best run. I think Plays actually is going to be in big danger here. Pulls over to the left hand side, goes defensive. You then right hand side, race in line. Will you hang him on the outside? How late does Plays leave the break in? Late. Forces you off the track a bit. Oh, and Shallot is into the wall. Possibly a bystander in that little collision. I did think that you was squeezed out a bit off the track. Not sure where Shallot came into that, but he's got a damaged wing and he'll have to replace that. That's a big disappointment for Shallot then. He's right in that battle, and so patiently waited kind of to see what would happen, and then we end up being involved in an accident in turn 1. But that does move Jack Gooding and Apex and Danskar up a spot in P4 then, and again having another crack at this podium is Jack Gooding, or Gooding rather. I don't want to get in trouble, boss. DRS though, he's not using the overtake though, so I think he's just content to sit behind where he is for the time being. Danskar then gets by Apex, who was just absolutely screaming, I'd say, on those ultra softs at this stage. Speaking of, where will Ant come in this lap? We're in range now where the softs can go to the end of the race, and he does indeed pull in not a very healthy advantage at the front. It'll be interesting to see what kind of air he pops into. Gets the car slowed down in time. As Plays not the best run, he dives into the pits on supers. That's the thing then. Ant's done an absolutely wonderful job on this stint. He's coming into the pits to put on softs from ultras. Plays then coming in from supers to replace those tyres. So that just shows you the excellent stint that Ant has had. He will emerge then in a handy enough P5 then, so he's got good track position, no one under threat from no one behind, and a couple of seconds behind Howitzer then in fourth. So Ant is looking really, really good for this race win. This would swing the title right back around, but a long way to go yet. But unlike Russia, there's no one who's going to be able to touch him today, I don't think, as long as he keeps it on the track himself. No wipeouts coming from anyone. No pun intended. As Daziek and Apex, or Risky rather, the other Renault, scrapping away, and Risky Racer moves up into P10 then, and his teammate will do this, or P9 then, and his teammate will move over to P10 then, very, very shortly as well. Could have gone down the inside there, just wanted to bide his time, I suppose. You know, for like a sector 1 or 2, the guys Khalifa into the wall, so Khalifa's day is going from bad to worse, and it's not a great day after qualifying. Didn't go his way, lost on the last corner. His Apex goes down the inside. No, he decides to elect against it. So it'll be interesting to see what time Sir Lane can make up. Can he get close to Ant? They both have one more stop. Sorry, no, sorry. Sir Lane's one more stop. Ant does not. You'll flag is sector 3. Not sure who that is. Oh, Danskar's damaged his wing into the pits. That's what it's for. So he had an accident heading into the pits, and now has to deal with a 7-second nose change as well. So that's a big, big one. Where will that leave Danskar then? He's completely ripped that thing off. Soft compound tyres onto the McLaren. Nose change. He will come out in 12th place. He's got a lot of work to do. Oh, and Crumpet's been disqualified for facing the wrong way. There you go. And Ant then moving by Howitzer, up the hill then, heading over towards turn 8 and 9, and then as Ant into third then. Nice bit of gap, nice bit of clear track then to Jack Gooding then, his teammate for tonight, in second, 6.5 seconds. So not long now until you and Jack Gooding and Howitzer and everyone else for that matter who's started this race on Supers head into the pits. Like I said, it's a long stint, the soft stint, it's a long one, so you have to settle in, and once the pit stops are over, the majority of fighting will be done on the track rather than in strategy. Let's see then, Yu is into the pits. Jack Gooding does not follow him. He'll carry on for another lap, will inherit the race lead. Meanwhile, two Toro Rossos getting very, very close to each other. Sir Lane on fresher supers, and fresh supers for you. That's a very interesting one. Good luck getting those 17 laps as Sir Lane easily gets by his teammate then, and will come out ahead of you. But the key difference is his tyres are 5 laps older. That will already be playing a part, and plays and sneaking in as well. He's ahead of you. Literally. So then, oh, beautiful stuff. Helicopter shot, absolutely beautiful. As you then, ooh, a little bit of contact, trying to hang around the outside. Oh, that comes across, plays a little bit, but does make the move stick, and that is plays then, or sorry, as you back into 5th place then, having lost that position to plays a moment ago. And will he then, oh, running very, very close to Sir Lane. DRS open, pulls on the left hand side. Sir Lane isn't really fighting this one. I think he knows that this one is a lost cause as such, and so you then moving into P4, number that is on his car for that matter. So then at the front here, Jack Gooding 3.5 seconds ahead of Ant in second. Will he come into the pits this lap? He does. Nice clear indication that he's coming in as well. And there you go, shows how to take the pit lane very easily. So that will release Ant then into the lead, and his nearest rival, I don't even know who it is. This is going to be, I don't want to speak too soon, but this is looking like it's going to be an absolute landslide, because you and Sir Lane both have to make pit stops again. As speaking of, plays are going to make a move on Sir Lane into turn 1, and does make it stick. See, they've all gone supers. they're not going to go to the end. That tyre will not go to the end. So they're coming into 2 stops. It has to be Jack Gooding, I think, has to be the closest one then. Who's going to the end of the race, who's actually going to be in he's at least 17 seconds behind Ant. So I mean, that just kind of tells you it all right there. So Ant then can enjoy nice bit of clean track in front of him. To be fair, by the time, if you and Plays and Sirlane can make up time on Ant, by the time they make up that 8 seconds, if well, they won't make up that. I don't think they will make up that 8 seconds, but their tyres will drop off before they can get anywhere close to overtaking them. So I think Ant has played an absolute blinder here today. Absolute blinder. I was worried he's pushing a bit too much on his ultras, but he was able to make them last and still put in some good times. It did help that there were people squabbling for second, but even still, he's done a great job, and now just has to keep it pointing in the right direction. And I think this race will be in the bag, though early to call. It is only lap 13 of 28. We're not even halfway yet, but I think it's looking very good as Red then pulls into the pits, and that will release Jack then into 5th, and the others then will follow suit. So Danskar then, this has not been a great race for him. He's in 11th place at the moment. He will bump up to 10th once he passes Red here in the pits, and he's fighting Howitzer for P9 at the moment. And I think once Risky pits again, tough ass to get those softs to the end of the race. Oh, Howitz just had a big moment, and that will allow Danskar through. That helps Danskar for sure to get through a car like that. Easy overtake in the end. He's up to 9th place then. Should get another position then when the likes of Risky come in, and it'll be interesting to see where he ends up with Sirlane, Plays and you. They are on the 2 stop, but I do think they will come back at Danskar near the end of the race. So on the fresh tyres, whether they go for a set of supers or a set of ultras, we'll find out, I suppose, in due course. But yeah, kind of the field has kind of spread out just a bit. I think we are just kind of waiting for that moment, really, where the soft, well, it's going to take a few laps, to be fair. Yellow flag in sector 3. Not sure who that's for, but it's going to take a little while, to be fair, for teams to kind of progress a bit further, because we are just waiting for these guys' tyres to rack up a bit in wear, and then come into their second stops, and then they'll figure out somewhere amongst the field, and then we'll see how they all get on then, as Khalifa facing the wrong way around out of turn 19. Not for the first time, the wrong way around, and I wonder if he'll just give up on this one. Has to be careful where he rejoins. He does come into the pits. Sirlane then into the pits, so not a ton of length on that super soft stint. And he's putting on a set of softs now, and they'll go to the end of this race. So where will that put him then? He should emerge ahead of his teammates, so that'll be 10th for Sirlane in the Toro Rosso. The gap is coming down slightly at the front, 5.2 seconds now to Ant. It's actually come down quite a bit, to be fair. He did just set the fastest lap of the race, 5.3 seconds there. So the gap is coming down quite quickly, but I do think, well, there's another 5 or so laps left in those tyres, right? 6, maybe 4 of their best life before they start to degrade a bit. So interested to see how that will end up as Murdoch pits then. It's been a disastrous one for Mercedes, hasn't it? Just hasn't worked out in any way, shape or form for Mercedes today. And they're running 15th and 16th place. Oh, Khalifa's off again. Just really struggling. And has to be careful rejoining the track, I'd imagine. Will he leave? We'll find out, I suppose, but we do have a little bit of action approaching as Apex is catching up to the back of his teammate, who's on much older soft compound tyres. Be time for them to pit soon enough, I suppose. Depends if he wants to do another set of supers or if he has another set of softs available to him. Hard to say for Risky, but he's definitely losing ground, and Bill's not too far behind this either. So P5 then looks like we're going to have a little bit of a battle here. And probably for the best, because kind of nothing else is really happening at the moment. Although Howitzer is getting close to Danskar again. Just a second. He does have fresher softs. .7 the gap at the front. So he's coming down, but of course Ant we know doesn't have to stop again. And those softs only get quicker, I think, as the stint goes on. Once you feel comfortable with them, you do kind of gain some pace out of them. So, whereas the supers will get to a point where they can only get so much pace, and then that'll be it. And we'll be gaining any more. Speaking of gaining, that is what Bill is doing at the moment. Can he get by Apex then? He'll have to go around the outside. Apex down the inside, trying to defend it. A little bit of wheel banging. But Bill settles in and has to keep do with 7th place for the time being. You see in the background Danskar and Howitzer. So Howitzer's got back up to the Danskar then after their after Howitzer's little moment out of turn 1 cost him that place in the first place. All running similarly wide. Hey, that'd be a penalty on strict corner cutting. But the other half, meanwhile, Charlotte haven't had that. Actually, to be fair, Charlotte could be right up there as well. To be fair, he could easily be fighting for 2nd or 3rd in this race. But I don't know how he had his accident, but look, he is where he is. He's in 12th place now. He has to try and recover from what happened. Meanwhile, these three still going away at it. It's been nothing much has changed. I thought maybe Apex would have got Risky by now, but that hasn't been the case. If anything, Apex is under more pressure from Bill than Risky is from Apex, so just shows you how good that soft tyre is, but it will drop off soon. And when it does, we should see a couple of changes of position as Biesma is into the pits, and Jack Gooding has caught up to the back of plays now as well. Are his tyres beginning to wear off now? 7 lap supers getting closer to the end of their best life. Plays is dropped to 13 seconds adrift of Yu in 2nd. Yu is still catching up to the back of Ant, 3.6 seconds. But at what point now do we start to see that begin to creep back up then, as the supers lose their grip? We've got Bill. Oh look, this would be good. Helicopter shot of Apex trying to defend his position from Bill. Bill with a much better line through the triple left or triple right hander. Inside becomes the outside. Can he hang around? He hangs it very, very wide. That surely is an illegal overtake, surely. And Risky has got a penalty now as well as he into the pit. So a lot of people have got themselves penalties from entering that pit lane. And that's the next casualty, as Plays then has lost out to Jack Gooding and Howitzer. Danskar then very, very close as well as Apex and Bill. So lots of on-track battles now begin to emerge as we get to lap 17 of 20. It's been a very good race here. ILR6, it's going to go down to the wire for many positions. Apex following Bill, Howitzer following Danskar. Battles for P5, 6, 7 and 8. And Sirlane not too far adrift to this either on fresh softs. So Sirlane could easily get himself into the mix here as well. Be interested to see how he gets on. Of course, we do expect you and Plays to get in on the action too. Ooh, that's running wide there from Danskar. One of just how he got that position from Howitzer in the first place is going to be the same way how Howitzer takes it back down the inside using the width of the track to get it done, and pops in to the racing line with the DRS and is able to make that move stick very nicely indeed. That is Howitzer back then into 7th place, and Sirlane begin to catch up to the back of Danskar. And Danskar needs every point he can get at this stage. Every point he can get. So still no change, kind of 3.3 seconds. The gap will come down a bit. 1.2 then Plays has fallen back of Jack Gooding. So now 7 lap old tyres. Is this the lap that the supers fall off just a little bit more? Doesn't seem like it for now, but it will not be long. for that is indeed the case. So Bill then ahead of Apex, Howitzer, Danskar and Sirlane then just less than 2 seconds behind. Danskar then for P8. So interesting to see where Plays and you then will pop out when they make their second stops, which will be coming very soon now. And unless they extend this to lap 21 or so, they're going to have to go on supers again. A set of ultras will not. I'm sure it can go to the end, but its best life will certainly be past expiration when they do get to the end. So, interesting choices for you and Plays then. More so Plays, because he's got 2 lap older tyres than you, and you is just falling a little bit back this lap, hasn't he? 3.6 seconds, and he is diving into the pits. And again, everyone has done that so far. They keep cutting that entrance to the pit lane, and that is a penalty every single time. It's happened so often. But Ultrasofts then are going on to the car of you, so he's had the fresher tyres of him and Plays, and still he is going to go on SF Ultras, and that's a big ask to get them 11 laps, including the lap we're on. Sorry, 10 laps including the lap we're on. He's going to merge in P4. 2.5 seconds behind Plays. We'll have to make a stop. And he is, what, 5.5 seconds behind Jack Gooding, so he should be able to make that up. So second place still is on here for you. But, well, to be fair, he wasn't really contending for the win anyway, so he will get back to second place, it seems. He's got, what, there's about 20 seconds between him and Ant-Attack, so not really. I'm saying we'll definitely close the gap up, but he won't be able to get by. He won't be able to make it up that much. So this is becoming a little bit of a 3-car fight. Bill has kind of dropped Apex a bit, and Howitzer, Danskar are all there as well. And Plays then, the aforementioned Plays, struggling on his supers. He's dropped over 3 seconds back now of Jack Gooding. So surely then, yeah, there you go. Just so much more grip, and there's nothing that Plays can do to really fight that. Just has to let him on his merry way. And he'll probably come into the pits this lap then. Little wobble for Apex on the exit. Let's see if Plays comes in this lap. No, he carries on. So I imagine he's just stretching out then for a set of Ultrasofts that will actually go to the end. Again, it's you who's going to find it difficult, I think, to really keep those alive come the end of the race. But we'll see what he can do. Going for a late move, Howitzer, not quite. Although he's close, as is Danskar and Sirlane then. Then he's got a big gap back then to Red, and then you have a Risky Racer as well, just who's on fresh supers, and he'll be able to make that overtake very, very soon on Red. So we know that we won't go to it because we'll stick with this battle for 6th place at the moment. Apex, Howitzer, Danskar and Sirlane all scrapping away for P6. Not where Danskar wants to be. He isn't 8th of this group at the moment, but Sirlane I think is coming soon. They're all kind of stuck in a DRS train to a degree. On each other. Oh, late move, a very, very late move. As Howitzer went for a move on Apex. Cut right across Danskar. Very kind of Vettel, Ricardo, Verstappen-esque from Mexico 2016. That was a dangerous one. Very, very dangerous stuff indeed. It's getting more dangerous. Sirlane here is just standing by, waiting for someone to kick off. As Risky then moves ahead. And then it's you who's going to move ahead of Jack Goody then into turn 1. A little bit of wheel banging. Can he keep the move as Plays does come into the pits? And Jack Gooding all the way off the track. So, not sure if he was hit off. But there you go, he's in. Apex is in as well. 12 laps on those softs. That's all he could do. So Ultrasofts in for Plays. I'd imagine the same set of Ultrasofts will go on the same car. And there you go for the Renault. There you go. So then, that takes him out of the equation. Dan's going up to 5th. If Danskar could pull 5th place here out of all this, that would be a great result. But he's going to he's looking at the difference of line compared to him and Sir Lane. Navigate again the twists and turns of the first sector. 13 seconds is the gap at the front here, so it's a lot to ask. I still don't think that it's you can do it. Plus plus he's got a 5-second penalty, so there's that to take into consideration as well. And I believe does not have a penalty. To Renault's exchanging places, Apex then moves ahead of Risky Racer, then fresher tyres, softer tyres. There you go then, 9th place then for Apex. Did he change a wing? Possibly. I didn't think he did actually. No, he's so far behind Apex, behind Plays though. Plays is going to come back. Oh, the two men are still side by side. Hello. So they're not done here yet apparently. Apex has to defend this. This is not what he wants to do really. Squabble him with his teammate. And more banging of paint. And Risky trying to take this one back, but surely around the outside with oh, there's contact between the two. Genie Mac, that could have been absolutely disastrous. These two Renaults really need to sort it out. Oh, more contact is going to end in tears, surely. Someone is going to end in absolute tears. This is sloppy stuff. Almost risk of desync there. Oh, he's not happy. There'll be words after this race, I'm sure. And then trying to cut the corner as much as he could. Risky, but again, eventually falls then. And surely then Apex then will be able to see this one through and keep this move. Look at Sir Lane though. Very close as well. They're going to be joined by Plays soon enough. Very, very soon. So Sir Lane, I think it's important for him to get this move done as soon as possible. He's going to have a car. Ultra starts charging towards him, and Danskar doesn't fight this one, so Danskar's going to lose a position here. 4 lap older tyres ahead of Sir Lane, and there you go then. He moves down to 6th place with Howitzer and Plays on fresher tyres, and more importantly softer tyres in the case of Plays, reeling him in. A rare yellow flag in sector 2. These Renaults still going at it. I mean, fair play to Khalifa for sticking with it, man. Fair play, because I think 90% of drivers would have quit by this stage or retired or done something with the amount of offs he's had. But he's still going. I mean, we technically haven't had any retirements yet. It's only been the disqualification of Crumpet, really, that we've seen so far in terms of DNFs. And that's not a DNF, it's a DSQ. So, good stuff to see. They're both getting penalties, aren't they? Apex and Risky. So where's Plays then? Here he is, and you see the difference through this S section. And this is just bottling and Plays up. When you go down the inside, Risky place to make a move. Door was kind of open, to be fair, but on exit, oh, we have a sloppy one from Plays there. Could have waited a bit longer for that one. Almost put Howitzer into the wall. So that was a close call. Definitely knocked Howitzer off the track limits. So won't be impressed by that, but that is Plays into 6th, 7th place. And what do they do here then? There is a constructors battle. Oh, he's gonna let him through. Okay, good stuff from Plays. Recognise that. Okay, that was maybe that wasn't the cleanest move, and it does let Howitzer go back through. That's good sporting play there from Plays. And the other thing is that he'll be able to get by again, for sure, and he should still be able to catch up to the back of his teammate as well. So, good to see that as well in league racing. Good to see kind of the recognition of a mistake and then pulling over to right that wrong. That's what you'd like to see. Meanwhile, the battle there for P11 between Charlotte and Red. I assume Charlotte just moved ahead. So then Plays back on the back of Howitzer then for our second round, second attempt. Try and get this one done a little bit quicker. He'll be hoping a little bit cleaner. Well, I was going to say that before he moved over was how are they going to handle this in McLaren, because Plays is not in the title race, Danskar is, but there is still a constructor's title to win as a howitzer goes wide there and Plays nips through. There's still a constructor's title to win, and at the moment, well, they're not being outscored by, how are they, 12? They're being outscored, they're not being outscored by Haas, but it's too close still. You can't really afford to take risks. Whereas if you let Plays go, he could get a run at Sirlane for 5th if his tyres hold up. So that's the conundrum of this race at the moment. I guess the most important thing to decide here, because at the front, I mean, it's going to be, it's Ant is going to win this race. You then, his progress has slowed on those ultras. In fact, it's actually losing time, isn't he? Just kind of to and fro. Jacko then looks like he's set for 3rd. Bill then, I think, is he's actually going to be under pressure because those tyres are quite a bit older than Sirlane and Danskar, and Plays for that matter. So we'll see what Bill can do. Oh, and Khalifa then is finally out. Sector 2. Not sure where on track that he has been this, but he has. And now Charlotte approaching the back of Risky Racer, who has had his ding-dongs with his teammate, but has now fallen 4.5 seconds back as those supers really have begun to die. For being the middle compound, the super really is it's a poor race tyre, really is. The soft tyre is the best one by far. And with a late movement, but Charlotte will get this move done. Or will he? Risky even at late, but just out-tractioned by Charlotte, and that is then him into 10th place, into the final points paying position. So then, 7/10 in between Plays and Danskar. How will they handle this then? Towards turn 13, will Danskar let him go, or will he try and hold for it every point that he can get? Because every point is so important now at this stage of the season, especially with Ant looking like he's going to take the full complement of 25. And yeah, Danskar lets him go, which I think is the right thing to do in the end. And if Plays can't get to Sirlane, I'd imagine they'll do a switch. Shot Risky Racer still going at it. So Risky doesn't give. I'll say this much about Risky Racer: does not give up without a fight. I'd say that much. For better or for worse, he does not give up without a little bit of a fight. But Shot is in P10 now, so see how he gets on. From there, I don't think he'll catch. No, he won't catch Apex. He's on Ultras, but alas. Yeah, so let's see what Plays does then. I'd imagine the arrangement will be that Plays will move over for Danskar once if he cannot make up those 4 seconds. Although, to be fair, what's the penalty situation? We can look at this ourselves. Not so much as a warning for Sirlane, so that's going to be interesting. Plays has 4 warnings and no penalties. Logic. And I think what's happened this lap is, I think Plays' Ultras just fallen, or yeah, I think they've fallen off just a bit. I think they may have. He's not really pulling away much from Danskar, and really he's not making up any time on Sirlane. In fact, he's losing it, if anything. It's going to creep to 5 seconds, that gap, isn't it? Very, very soon. So I think that's going to be it for Plays' charge through the field on the Ultras. It was brief, but he's into 6th place. And at this current moment, with 8 points going for P6, 6 points for P7, that's 14 points. They would outscore Haas here by two points here at the moment, 12 points for 4th. But Sirlane catching up to the back of Bill. 1.7. His tyres are a lot fresher. I do expect there will be some sort of change here very, very soon. Oh, Yu's had an off. Yu has had an off somewhere. Oh, his tyre, I think his tyre, yeah, his tyres have gone. The rears have absolutely gone in that car. So on lap 27, his rears have given up, and he's got, I mean, he got 11 seconds on Bill or so. Can he keep it going? If he can keep it in a straight line, he can minimize his positions lost. If he pits, he's going to lose a lot of positions. If he tries to hold on, he might be able to hold on to a top 5 finish. He's got 16 or so seconds to place in 6th. But the tyre's given up. That moves Jack Gooding then into 2nd. As Ant is going to begin the final lap of the race. Can Danskar get an extra point or two? As a result, I'd imagine Plays will move out the way soon. There's enough gap behind him. Oh, and he's out. It's You is out. The rears could not hold him any longer. I'd imagine... Oh, he's lost it coming through the triple right-hander. Trying to see if I can find his car. It must be buried in that wall over there. And that is Danskar then up a position to P6. And that just shows you if he could have... I think he could have stayed a bit longer on his supers. And they would have lasted a bit longer. I think kind of the Ultras would last a bit longer. Plays then does play the team game. He does move over for Danskar. So as I suspected, giving them the best chance. And now suddenly Danskar's gone from collecting just 6 points to 10. And that will certainly help. Because this man, Ant Attack, the perfect race. He got Sirlane off the line. A brilliant first stint. A brilliant first stint. Made not only the Ultras last, but last to lap 8 with good pace. And he was able to execute the one stop. And from there, it's been in his back pocket as everyone around him faltered or did the 2-stop. And he's going to win this. He's going to win this one. I think this is going to be his most convincing win since Monaco, I believe, where he absolutely dominated that race by, I think, by 30 odd seconds. It was one of the most boring races ever watched, but this one was not. An Ant Attack firmly back in the title hunt. He wins in USA. A brilliant result for him. The other Red Bull will now pop back then around the final corner. And he will take P2 for Jack Gooding. Good race, great result from him. Good drive, very good drive. And that is actually Ant's first win since that Monaco race. So there you go then. The drought is over. Bill then big points for Haas. Finish in 3rd. Sirlane will finish 4th. Danskar then the damage minimised. He will take a 5-point lead into the final 3 races. It hasn't been a great day for him. It could have been a lot worse. Plays finishes 6th, Howard to 7th, Charlotte then will just about squeeze into 8th. There you go. Apex will finish 9th, and then Risky Racer will cross the line and finish in 10th spot. Red then, will he jump on penalties? No, he will not. And this has been the absolute worst day for Mercedes. Usually those two, Murdoch and Baza, are quite on it, and they're usually closer to the front. Oh, Baza's tyres have gone. His rears have absolutely given up on him. But the good news for him is that Biesma and Daziek have already finished. So whatever Baza does, he literally cannot finish below them now. Murdoch then finishes 12th. Baza then in 13th, and that will do it. That will do it. So then, this title fight has taken another turn. 15 points and has slashed off that lead. 5 points now will separate them heading into the last 2 rounds into Mexico next week. So that's a very important result for this title. Although to be fair, it could have been a lot worse for Danskar, but though that last lap helped him get a few extra points with the retirement of It's You. So then, very few penalties in the end because it is regular corner cutting. And then wins ahead of Jack Gooding in 2nd, Bill in 3rd, Sirlane in 4th, Danskar 5th, Plays in 6th, Howitzer 7th, Shot 8th, Apex 9th, Risky Racer in 10th, rounded out the points. Red 11th, Murdoch 12th, Baza 13th, Biesma 14th, Daziek 15th, and then just 2 retirements. It's You very late on with the rears of his car going from 2nd place, and then Khalifa retired, and Crumpus was disqualified for facing the wrong way. So there you go then, very entertaining race at USA. That definitely sets up these last 3 rounds very nicely indeed. Next up for ILR6 is Mexico. Interesting track, of course, is seeing a track that's seen Lewis Hamilton claim his last two titles. Will it be the turning point of this one in ILR6 for either Danskar or Ant? Momentum is firmly on Ant's side now with that win, and that's actually the third fifth place finish in a row for Danskar. So Russia and Japan as well. So there you go. Then that kind of just shows you where things are at in terms of momentum. But we can talk about that next week. That's it for ILR6. Next up for ILR itself, ILRs 3 and 4 will be tackling the same track. Hope we get the same set of, or not the same set of results rather, but the same great racing. So I hope you enjoyed this race, and until next time.